Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Ray and today I'm going to show you something really cool because I'm working on this little map here and you might ask that, like it's all good and stuff, but what the fuck is this? The answer is these are trees. Let me show you something. If I play the game, this is going to spawn a random tree here. Now, why is this important? Because in this little set here, if I spawn some civilians, right there, if you pay attention to the purple ones, they are like woodcutters, so they are going to go to a tree and like cut it, just like that. So now, instead of static meshes, I have actors that can interact with other actors in a game. So this is how you can, like make trees that can be cut off to use actors. Now, here's a problem. If I wanted to spawn these trees, I have to figure out something to actually spawn the trees here, because now how would you populate your scene with trees? So the first answer that you can just go to the foliage panel here, select a tree and just paint it on your map. Now the problem with this is, okay, good. So the problem with this is that these are not actors. These are just static meshes, which means if I ever wanted to interact with them, I couldn't do that. So now how do we do that? Now, if I create a tree actor type, actor foliage type, then I can spawn actors here. And these are actually actors in the game. So instead of dragging them one by one into the scene, I can just paint it, right? So now if I play the game, these will be spawned as like trees that can be interacted with, right? Now, how do you make it that it's procedural, you might ask? And that's what I was asking too. So now let me just undo this shit. So this is my landscape material. And as you can see, I have a grass output here and I defined the grass type here. Now, what this does is sampling the layer I want to spawn the grass on. So I want the grass to spawn on this kind of layer. I sample that and I tell the grass output that wherever this layer is painted, spawn grass on it. Because we have a grass type and I can, as you can see, select static meshes. Now, the problem is still that these are static meshes. And even if I wanted to, I couldn't actually change this grass type to an actor type for some reason. Now, for this problem, we have a solution. And it's called procedural foliage spawner. Now, if you don't have this, then you can just go to edit preferences, and then type here procedural, and then you will see procedural foliage, which is in experimental. So it might have some problems, but so far it's working just fine. I'll show you what this does. If you right click and create one, and we call it tree spawner, then we can, this is like a type, just like these types here, like the grass type that we are using. So now we can have some basic settings here, but like the default is probably fine. What is really important here is that if we open the grass type up, you can see that it's only the blue one. You can only use the blue one. Now, if you add another array element, you can see this is white. So this can handle a lot of things. So now with this, we can actually spawn actors. So now we create an actor foliage type, just like that. And with that, we can actually select an actor here. That is my tree actor. And then we can have a bunch of settings here that we can customize. Cast shadows and everything. And after we're done with the settings here, that how much of a random rotation we want to have and stuff like that, what's the size variation of the trees and stuff. After we've done that, obviously I'm not going to show this because it's going to be very different in your screen. What we really want to pay attention to is this little fella, the number of steps and the clustering. So now what we want to do is that we don't want to zero everything down. We, I think, just want to zero down the steps is 1 and the density is 1. So now we are going to pray together that we don't crash. And then I'm just going to press simulate. All right, so we didn't crash. But the problem is that, as you can see, it placed the trees on static meshes, which we don't really want, and it's really dense. So now what we can do about this, and it's clipping, but not so bad. So I think it's fine. So now what we can do with this is, so this is a float, I think. I think this is a float. So what if we say 0.3 and zero this down? Oh yeah, it was a float. Okay, so now we have solved the density problem we had. So now the overall density is 1 that we can just, I don't know how many trees that is per tile, but I'm just going to say that we can pretty much figure out a really good number here. So I think that's that 0.3 was working just fine. Resimulate. And now we have this. So now I can just pretty much 950 and 950, just like that, and save everything and just resimulate it. All right, so now we have a forest, and the call distance is still something I have to figure out. Now, obviously, you can just play with the density. I'm not going to play with it right now, but now if I go and launch the game here. Okay, so now it's full screened. I still have some FPS issues because I didn't really optimize the trees here, so everything is going to load with LOD 0, which is not the ideal. So now, as you can see, that we have pretty much an even distribution here, which is bad, but you can also just create more tree spawners and just let's place it wherever you want, where you want the trees to be, like, closer to each other, and change up the density settings there and the steps. So you can make pretty much a lot of variations with like 4 or 5 tree spawners here. So now, and as you can see, if I spawn my civilians here, they can interact with it. So now let's see this fella. That's what you're doing. Oh, you're going back for some reason. All right. Oh, because it's night. Ah, fuck. Okay, let me just restart this. Okay, so I think we want that tree. Let's see. And fuck. Okay, good. So now, obviously, you can add this wood chopping animation, and then like wait a couple of seconds, and then like make the tree fall down. But overall, it's working. Where are you running? This guy is really scared. So now it's overall working. These are not static meshes; these are actors, and they can be, pretty much customized as much you want. So now this was it. I think you can, again, as I said, you can play with a couple more tree spawners here. So you can just make like 5 or 6 with different trees, different attributions, and then you can have a pretty nice variation of foliage here. And the great thing is, because these are volumes, obviously you don't have to use just one big ass volume for your entire game. You can use a lot of volumes, and all those volumes can have different trees and attributions. So obviously, if you don't have to, your game doesn't really need your characters or your character to interact with these kind of actors, then you don't have to use it this way. You can just spawn static meshes, and I'm pretty much, you will get a lot of performance bonuses here if you use only static meshes instead of actors. In my game, I will have to interact with these trees, so I will have to use actors. So this is it. This is what I figured out, and I thought I'd share this with you guys. So thanks for watching, and I see you in the next one. Bye.